What's up, gang? It's your boy Wolfpack Chris, and we're back with lesson 2 of body recomp. Now, there's gonna be some terms that I'm gonna use that I need you guys to commit to memory. Everything that you think that you know about fat loss, muscle building, it might apply here. It might be the same thing. If you know anything about it, if you don't know anything about it, everything that you think you might know, that'll dump it and start fresh, because right now we're starting from the very basics. All right, very basics. This is from just nutrition. I won't say nutritional. This is from a physical standpoint. So body recomp. Last video I told you guys we're going to talk about fat loss. Now, what do you need to achieve fat loss? You need a calorie deficit. You need to send your body into a calorie deficit, right? So we'll check that box off. Now, how do you determine how far to take your body into a caloric deficit? Well, you have to find out how much calories your body requires on a daily basis to maintain your weight, your current weight. So, meaning, let's go back to the 2,000 calorie example again. If I weigh 200 pounds, and don't jump on me for this, because I'm not trying to get the exact numbers, but if I weigh 200 pounds, and in order to maintain 200 pounds all year long, I have to eat 2,000 calories every day. That means as long as I eat 2,000 calories every day, I'll never lose weight. I'll never gain weight. I'll always stay 200 pounds. However, now that's my daily intake. That's what it takes in order for me to maintain that weight. But if I go over that 2,000 calories, let's say about 500 to 600 calories, maybe a little bit less, then I'm definitely going to gain some weight. It's going to be fat. If I go under that 2,000 calories, then I'm definitely going to burn some weight. I'm definitely going to burn some fat. I'm going to lose some weight. Now, how do you calculate your daily caloric intake? Well, they got nice fancy calculators online on bodybuilding.com. If it fits your macros, they have a very nice body calculator, a caloric calculator, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. However, you have to know your daily intake in order to figure out what your caloric deficit is going to be. So whatever your daily caloric intake is going to determine how much we need to send your body into a deficit. So let's just say we figured that out. We know what our daily intake is. So let's go back to the 2,000 calories thing again. I weigh 200 pounds. I want to lose weight. So I know that in order for me to maintain 200 pounds, I have to take in 2,000 calories. So I figured out what my daily caloric intake is. I know I need to get below 2,000 calories. Now, let's talk about something else. You see here, I got a nice BMI or TDEE. What does that stand for? Basal Metabolic Index. That's what BMI stands for. TDEE is total daily energy expenditure. What that is, in order for your body to live, in order for you to live, even when you sleep at night, even when you're at rest, when you're not doing anything, your body is burning calories. When you're physically active, your body is burning calories. This is how you have to look at that. Whenever your body has movement, and you guys don't really see it, none of us sees it, our heart is beating, right? Our heart is beating, so that's movement. My heart's burning energy. You got things going, blood is flowing through your body. That's energy being burned. Anything is happening, your muscles spazzing, energy being burnt. If you've lifted anything heavy and you feel the soreness in your body, your muscles are repairing themselves. It takes energy in order for your muscles to repair themselves. You are burning energy on a daily basis, no matter whether you live a sedentary lifestyle or you are the most active, fit person in the world. Now, how much energy you burn is a different story. So let's go back to the caloric deficit. So if I weigh 200 pounds and it only takes me 2,000 calories to maintain 200 pounds, and let's say I go over that, let's say I eat 2,600 calories. My body is only required probably 2,000, maybe a little less than that. Let's say 1,700 calories in order to just maintain living. But I went over by, well, let's say 500 or 600 calories. What happens with the rest of that calorie? Well, it gets processed and turned into stored fat. And that's what we don't want. We want to burn it. So we have a surplus now. We've eaten more than what our body needs to expend in order for us to, or more than what our body needs for us to burn in order for us to maintain that size and to ultimately overall live. So now we have to figure out what our daily energy expended is. So how do we determine that? So again, on bodybuilding.com, they have a nice calculator on there where you can figure out how much calories you need to burn per day. And again, we'll talk about that in another video. And if it fits your macros, also has a very good body calculator that talks about that. So we know we need to send our body into a caloric deficit. We know we need to figure out our daily intake. And we know we need to figure out how much energy we need to expend. When I say energy, I mean calories. All right. So calories is the measurement at which it's determined that fat is burned. Excuse me, I won't say fat is burned. Calories is the measurement that determines energy in our body. That's pretty much it. On a very, very, very basic level. And please, again, if you want them science whizzes, don't beat me up on that. We on 8th grade level. All right. So in order to understand all this right here, calorie deficit, daily intake, daily energy expended, BMI, which pretty much is the your basal metabolic rate. That's the amount of calories that your body burns just at rest. And total daily expenditure, which is the amount of calories your body burns per day in order just for you to live. We have to understand the basis of calories, right? So whenever you pick up a food item or whenever you buy something at a restaurant and it tells you how many calories it is, that's telling you how many calories is in that one particular serving. Well, how do they know? How do they determine how many calories is in that particular serving? Well, they follow macronutrients, otherwise known as macros. Now, there are a lot of people who do not count their macros, that are very well in shape, very much so in shape. They know how to maintain their fitness and their health. They've either reached a fitness goal or they've been fit all their life, and they don't have to count these numbers. However, if I attach myself to you as your coach, I am going to help you figure out what your number is, which is pretty much going to be your daily intake. This is how we find out what your daily intake is, by figuring out what your macros are. And I'm going to have you eating that exact amount of calories. So let's go back to macros. Calories. When you pick up a food item or you go to the restaurant and you see a calorie count on it. Let's say you go to McDonald's and the double quarter pounder says it's 595 calories for one serving of double quarter pounder. How do they know? That's 595 calories. Where do they get that number from? Well, I'll tell you where they get it from. They get it from the macronutrients involved in it. What are macros? Macros are your big three. So you take your big three, you combine them together, and that gives you your total overall calorie count per serving of that item. So let's use the double quarter pounder, 595 calories, right? So we know that double quarter pounder is going to come with some carbs, right? Because it's got bread on it. It's got pickles. It might have some lettuce, tomato, all that. Those are complex carbs. Then we got our starchy carbs, which is the bread, the bun, right? So for every 1 gram of carbs, that's worth 4 calories. All right, stick with me. We know that the burger is gonna also have a beef patty on it, 2 beef patties in fact, and it's gonna have some cheese on it. So we know we're getting some protein in it, right? So for every 1 gram of protein, that's worth 4 calories. So for every 1 gram of carbs, we got 4 calories. Every 1 gram of protein, we also got 4 calories. We also can determine that this burger is going to be very, 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 very fatty. Beef is fatty in nature. Cheese doesn't carry a whole hell of a lot of fat. But the ketchup, heavily loaded with sugars, mustard, probably also loaded with sugars. We can determine that we're going to have quite a bit of fat in it. So for every 1 gram of fat, that's worth 9 calories. So you take the breakdown. So whenever you look at a nutrition label, these are the 3 things you want to look at the back of it. How many grams of carbs, proteins, and fats are in it? You take that number. Let's say the back of the nutrition facts label says that meal per serving has 18 grams of carbs. You would take that 18 grams of carbs, multiply that by 4, and that'll tell you how many calories you're getting from the carbs by itself. You do the same thing when it comes to the protein. If it's telling you you're getting 15 grams of protein, you'll multiply that 15 grams by 4, and that'll tell you how many calories you're getting every 15 grams of protein within that 1 serving. And then you do the same thing for the fats. However many grams of fat, let's say it's 10 grams of fat, you multiply that 10 grams by 9, that's going to tell you how many calories you're getting in that serving size from fat. And if you look at the top of the label, they'll always tell you how many calories you're getting for fat per serving, but they never tell you how many calories you're getting per serving of carbs or protein. But if you calculate those numbers, you add them all together, that'll give you your total calorie count per serving. All right, you guys still with me? So that's how we determine what you're supposed to be eating, pretty much. So what would I do with you if you were my client and you came to me and you said, Chris, I want to lose weight? I would tell you, wait a minute. We're not trying to get you to lose weight. We're trying to get you to lose fat. How do we accomplish that? Well, I'm going to send you into a caloric deficit. How am I going to do that? I'm going to figure out what your daily caloric intake is. Everybody's daily caloric intake isn't the same. I don't know if it's the FDA. I can't remember who it is who came up with the 2,000 calories per day. But pretty much the national average has been determined that everybody is supposed to take in at least 2,000 calories per day for a good nutritious diet. That is not true. Everybody cannot run off of the same thing. Bigger guys need to eat more calories, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be fat if they eat more. They're just a little bit bigger. They're a little bit heavier, whether it's from muscle or fat. And in order to at least maintain that size, or to be healthy at that size, they have to eat their own personal daily intake. So we'll figure that out through a calculator, figure out what your daily intake is, and then we'll figure out how many calories your body expends per day. All right, so I'll figure that out through another calculator. And I would take that number, subtract it from your daily intake, and now that tells me how far I need to take your calorie deficit, your expenditure for your daily intake, right? So if you were at 2,000 for maintenance, just to maintain that 200, right? Then, and that's what the calculator says your daily intake needs to be. I will figure out what your basal metabolic index is, which is pretty much how much calories you're burning at rest. Let's say you burn 1,800 calories at rest. Okay, subtract that. That means about 200 calories. If I sent you into a 200 calorie deficit from your 2,000 calorie intake, meaning instead of eating 2,000 calories, now I have you eating 1,800 calories, then you're sure to lose weight. But I might take you down a little bit lower than that. I might take you to 17. 1785 or 1750, somewhere around about that. And then I'll give you a training program. So we already know that you're gonna burn calories just by cutting your intake, right? But that's only cutting you down by 200. We already know, so instead of burning 1,800 calories, your body is now burning 2,000 calories per day, right? So now I want to take you lower than that. I don't want to take your calorie intake lower because I don't want to starve you. I don't want you to starve. You don't want to starve. You're not going to be very happy. You're not going to be happy with me. You're going to be cussing me out. You're probably going to be cussing me out anyway. But what I would do from there is I would put you on a workout program. At least 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to be escalated to about 45 minutes of cardio. Low intensity, maybe 15, 20 minutes high intensity cardio. We'll switch it up from day to day, depending on how we set up your plan. And that's going to drive your fat loss even further. Let's say we take you down by 600 calories. So your deficit went from 1,800 to, let's say, what's 6 from 18? 1,200. Now you're at, what, 8 plus 6? No. My math is all wrong. 1,400, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, 1,400. Sorry, excuse my math. Now you went from being into a 200 calorie deficit to burning an extra 600 calories with your physical activity, and that takes you into a 1,400 calorie deficit. That's on top of what you're burning for 1,800 calories. Right? Right. So, in the grand scheme of things, the other simple thing I want you guys to know is 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of fat. What does that mean? For every 3,500 calories you burn, you lose 1 pound of fat. That's why it's important to understand what your numbers are, so you can be certain on a day-to-day basis that you're sending your body into a caloric deficit. That's why when in the first video I said I need you guys to follow the program just as strict as I would have you follow it if I was there with you, or just as strict as I would follow it if it were me. That way we can be sure that you're hitting your numbers. And then if you're doing your physical training, you're going to be burning more energy, more calories, which is going to send you even further into a deficit. Guarantee that you get closer and closer to this 3,500. On average, you should lose at least 2 pounds per week if you follow that strict plan. If you follow that strict plan. 3,500 calories per 1 pound of fat. All you gotta do is burn 3,500. So let's say you're burning more than that. Let's say you're burning 7,000. That's 2 pounds of fat loss right there. 7,000 calories burnt in a week. You can do that. It's very doable. So, talk about how it all works. Take in less calories than daily intake. Burn more calories than daily intake. And that's how we start to lose fat. That's how we start to recomp the body. Start to recomp the body. There's more to body recomposition, and we'll talk about that in another video too. So, for all you guys that's been reaching out to me, this has been a 20-minute video. I hope I didn't lose you guys. If I did lose you guys, feel free to inbox me, email me, send me a message if you have my personal phone number, text message me, instant messenger me, all that good jazz. And yeah, again, I hope this has been informative. Stand by for the next video, I guess. Iron Gang for life, Iron Gang out. Y'all know what I'm saying.